Subsidies from members of Congress has gathered 850,000 signatures. Daniel Jimenez started a petition with the intention of gathering 1 million signatures for it to be delivered in Congress about the replacement of the ACA. Jimenez said he started the petition after hearing about the proposed changes that would impact millions of Americans. The changes made him think about his father, who died after detecting he had cancer too late into the process. Jimenez, a transportation modeler from Portland who recently moved to New Mexico, thinks insurance could have saved his father's life. Several years ago, my dad got the news that he had cancer. Sadly, he passed away. My dad had a job at the time, but his employer did not cover him, and without coverage, he avoided going to the doctor until it was too late. As Congress and President Trump try to pass a new healthcare law, I'm reminded of my father and whether he would have made it if he had early access to cost-effective health care. Affordable health care is in decline as premiums and health costs increase at exponential rates. Some politicians cannot relate to the cost burden experienced by families across the nation because they've historically received health benefits that most Americans have not. Like millions of people who are panicking about possible changes to their health insurance, I'm concerned the people elected to represent us won't have to live with the consequences or expenses that the rest of us may have to face soon. I want lawmakers to commit to treating themselves just like those who will be impacted by ACA repeal or replacement. A lot of members of Congress promote choice as an American value, which is all the more reason for them to have to continue to choose their own health coverage from the free marketplace. If private health care is good for the American citizen, it should also be good for the people that defend it. If Congress is willing to drastically cut healthcare subsidies for most people, are they willing to have the same rules apply to them and their families? What do you think of this? Share your Doctors now support womb transplants for transgenders. Should taxpayers have to pay? The best example of the left's insanity is their fetishization of the transgender issue. If there's anything that proves the insidious and anti-science agenda, it's how liberals are forcing us to deny biological reality or face ostracism from society. Because they have no real, valid argument for transgenderism, they resort to labeling critics bigots and haters, as a means to silence them. Throughout the media and schools, transgender propaganda has replaced gay marriage with shocking speed as the top social issue of the day. And the issue's only going to become more controversial in years to come, as scientists are tailoring procedures to cater to these deluded individuals. And guess who will have to pay for these procedures? As reported at Breitbart, leading doctors are backing NHS-funded, the UK's socialist, state-run healthcare system, womb transplants for biological males who identify as women, a procedure which experts say will be possible within 10 years. Right now, doctors believe with some advancements and funding, the procedure will be viable, as pioneering operations at the University of Gothenburg on wombless women have seen at least 5 children born as a result of a procedure similar to the one doctors are trying to perfect for use on men. In light of a Swedish team's success, left-wing activists in the UK have demanded the NHS pay for womb transplants for male-born transgender people, which doctors in the country apparently back. Must be nice seeing one's tax dollars go to such a procedure, when it could go to getting them psychological help instead. Consultant gynecologist Dr. Ariana D'Angelo, of the NHS's Wales Fertility Institute, said it was right from an ethical point of view. Right, it's now ethical to not only encourage, but also to pay for one to carry out their delusions to the extreme. It would be like helping anorexic people to come up with better ways to starve themselves. Ariana said, "We already have fertility preservation for transgender people, to give them the possibility to have their own genetic child. So I don't see much of a difference between that and actually delivering their own child." Dr. Francoise Sheffield, a clinical lecturer in obstetrics and gynecology at University College London, who has treated infertile NHS patients for 30 years, added her support and pointed to the UK's equality laws. "If we are saying we should have equality and we have legislation defending the rights of transgender people, I do not see why not," she said. "This issue has nothing to do with equality. A person has no inherent right to claim they're being treated unequally simply because they're one sex but want to be another. H.T. Breaking: John McCain diagnosed with brain cancer. Senator John McCain, R. Arizona, has been diagnosed with brain cancer according to the Mayo Clinic Hospital in Phoenix. The Hill reported that the tumor was discovered after the senior Arizona senator underwent a minor procedure last week to remove a blood clot from above his left eye. The hospital said in a statement, subsequent tissue pathology revealed that a primary brain tumor known as a glioblastoma was associated with the blood clot. The senator and his family are reviewing further treatment options with his Mayo Clinic care team. Treatment options may include a combination of chemotherapy and radiation. What do you think of this? Share your opinion. Wow! You won't believe who the White House cut off from federal funding. President Donald Trump fulfilled many campaign promises for the first few months as a president. The liberals, of course, disapprove this. If we discuss immigration, we have to mention how the threat of liberal refusal to enforce the law is damaging the country. Many leftist and elitist sheriffs harbor immigrants and with that, disrespect the laws in this country. Well, Trump and Sessions have made the first step towards destroying sanctuary cities. According to reports, Attorney General Jeff Sessions ordered the Justice Department in a Monday memo to require that U.S. jurisdictions comply with immigration enforcement as a condition for receiving federal grant money. This means a huge win for President Trump. Immigration law is determined by the federal government, so these sanctuary cities will have to obey. The next step for Trump will be to cut the flow of money, something that concerns the liberals very much. According to reports, Sessions already has his targeted list that predicts funding cuts for 9 specific sanctuary jurisdictions: Chicago, New Orleans, Cook County, Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Milwaukee, Miami, New York City, and Sacramento. What do you think of this? Share your opinion. Right after Hannity criticized Fox News for bashing Trump, he received terrible news. Shepard Smith and Sean Hannity from Fox News are not in good relations recently, as Hannity criticizing Smith for his anti-Trump statements. Now their relation got a new direction. Among other comments, Smith recently slammed the president as a liar. "They tell us there's nothing to this," Smith said, "that nothing came of it. There's a nothing burger, it wasn't even memorable, didn't write it down, didn't tell you about it 'cause it wasn't anything, so I didn't even remember it. Why all these lies? Why is it lie after lie after lie?" As for Hannity, as he was interviewing Trump advisor Dr. Sebastian Gorka, he took yet another swipe at Shepard Smith. "Shep is a friend, I like him, but he's so anti-Trump," Hannity said. He went off on a rant last week. "That's fine, but our opinion is different." After that comment, Smith broke out his elitist journalist card, acting as if he is only a reporter despite the fact that he constantly interjects his left-wing opinions into his comments as he reports the day's news. Responding to Hannity's comments via a statement to Mediate, Smith played the elitist journalist card and said, "Sometimes facts are displeasing. Journalists report them without fear or favor. Sorry, Shep, but calling people a liar is an opinion, not the sort of fact that is supposed to be used in a dispassionate reporting of the news." Of course, Smith has a long history of pushing his left-wing agenda into his supposed reporting. For instance, in September of last year, Smith pushed his opinion that voter ID laws are racist. In another case, Smith was criticized when he outright called Donald Trump a racist. But, one of his more outrageous actions was to side with the domestic terror outfit Black Lives Matter. What do you think of this? Share your opinion. Fed-up driver runs over obnoxious riders blocking the freeway. The liberals protest all over America for Columbus Day. Last year they blocked the traffic in northern Nevada for the holiday. It didn't take long for them to learn that they'd picked the wrong method of protesting. Louder with Crowder reported that the video above shows a fed-up driver waiting for the protesters to move out of his way. The protesters not only refused to do so but also threatened to assault the driver. Once he loses patience with the liberal nitwits, the driver steps on the gas and plows right through the protest, sending the protesters running for their lives. Reaction to the video has been overwhelmingly in the driver's favor, with patriots speaking out in the comments section to praise him for his actions. "I stopped feeling bad as soon as I heard 'I'll rip you out of that truck, you little F,'" one user wrote. At that point, threats are made against the driver and he did what he had to do to get out of a potentially harmful situation. Don't protest in the middle of the street, and then threaten people in vehicles wanting to get through. No sympathy for any of these dumb people on the road. What do you think of this? Share your opinion.